days. Emergency crews on the scene of a deadly plane crash near Dallas. Authorities confirming at least 10 people dead. The images coming in now. The twin-engine Beechcraft slamming into a hangar just after takeoff. The NTSB and the FAA racing to the scene.
Tonight, investigators on scene at an airport just north of Dallas, trying to determine what led that plane to crash shortly after takeoff. Harrowing images showing thick black smoke billowing from the Addison, Texas airport. According to the medical examiner, 10 people were killed when the twin-engine plane slammed into a hangar.
Attention all aircraft, everybody just stand by. We had a accident on the field.
Witnesses say the plane veered to the left before rolling over, its left wing smashing into the building. Officials say there were no survivors and that the plane was destroyed.
A loud explosion followed with large billows of smoke. The Syrian state news agency has released a video of what appears to be Israeli missiles being intercepted near Homs.
The air defences of the Syrian Arab Army after midnight intercepted hostile missiles fired by Israeli warplanes towards some military positions in Homs and the surroundings of Damascus.
Syrian media say several missiles did hit their intended targets, killing both pro-regime fighters and civilians, including children. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, meanwhile, said the strikes hit at least 10 facilities used by Iranian forces and Hezbollah fighters in the country.
The UN's nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, says that Iran has stockpiled more enriched uranium than allowed in the 2015 nuclear deal. IAEA inspectors reported back from the Islamic Republic after the claims that Iran has accused European powers of not doing enough to help save the nuclear deal after the US withdrawal and its actions since then over the last few weeks. Let's take a closer look at the dispute around the 2015 nuclear deal. US President Donald Trump pulled out of the agreement last year and imposed tough new sanctions 3 months later. In May, Iran announced it would pull back on some of its commitments under the deal by increasing production of low-enriched uranium. And Iranian and European leaders met on Saturday in Vienna to try and save the agreement, but there was no breakthrough, and Iran has accused Europe of not doing enough to protect it from US sanctions.
The wife of Dubai's leader has fled the United Arab Emirates, leaving her husband without warning and taking $56 million with her. The princess has immediately filed for divorce and sought asylum in Germany, sparking a diplomatic row.
Living the life of royalty in one of the world's wealthiest countries, Princess Haya bint Hussein appeared to have it all. Married to the billionaire ruler of Dubai with 2 young children, a rare interview in August last year painted a picture of family bliss. But the estranged princess has now reportedly fled to Germany, taking her children and $56 million. She's requested asylum and filed for divorce from her royal husband, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, sparking a diplomatic crisis between Germany and the United Arab Emirates.
Now we're getting reports there's been an explosion in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Smoke's been seen billowing from the downtown area near the US Embassy.
Indeed, it was a very powerful explosion here in Kabul this morning, where the explosion took place in one of the busiest places in Kabul city during the rush hour time, where the people are going to their offices and kids were going to their schools. We do not know the exact target of the explosion, but eyewitnesses are telling us that the explosion was close to the football stadium, and we do have casualties and fatalities. And the hospital called emergency received multiple people who were wounded, and most of them were the school children. The Minister of Interior is also confirming the explosion. They also told us that the Afghan Special Forces arrived at the scene, and we can still hear the gunfire between the Afghan Special Forces and the terrorists.
Felix Tshisekedi chose the eastern Ituri region to deliver an address commemorating his republic's Independence Day. Thousands of kilometers away from the capital, where he would normally make such a speech, he promised to deliver a large-scale military operation to stop the violence.
We need to do everything in order to bring peace as soon as possible. And this is why I'm sending a top army officer together with soldiers on the ground in order to resolve the ongoing insecurity in the Ituri region. And that's also why I'm here.
More than 400 people have been killed in the area over the last 3 weeks in fighting between rival ethnic rebel groups. It set off a large exodus, with 400,000 people fleeing for Bunia town or to neighboring Uganda. While the army is protecting internally displaced people in some areas, President Tshisekedi says the offensive will stretch all the way down to South Kivu.
For these residents of Guadalajara, Mexico, an icy awakening. To their surprise, they rose Sunday to find their neighborhoods covered under nearly 2 meters of hailstones. While seasonal hailstorms are not unknown here, the volume of ice dropped Sunday is without precedent, especially as temperatures had been averaging 31 degrees Celsius in recent days. At around 1 a.m., the violent hailstorm hit the area, depositing deep drifts of ice within a few short hours. Meteorologists say atmospheric instability is to blame, as high heat at ground level coincided with strong humidity at higher altitudes.
There's so much here to unpack, but I'd love you just to give the audience a sense of some of the ways in which the Chinese regime is engaging in this totalitarian surveillance and direction of its citizens.
Yeah, by next year, Steve, they plan to have a nationwide social credit system in place. This will give every Chinese citizen a constantly updated score based upon observable behaviors. So, for instance, jaywalking or a social media post about Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler. All of these will change scores. And people with low scores will not be able to either, for instance, put their kids in private school, buy a home, get on a plane or a train. They're meant to be able to actually just restrict people to their homes, which is what they're thinking about. So, and when you put together the concentration camps that are in Tibet and Xinjiang, this really is a social control, totalitarian state.